So I was chatting with a friend the other day and we were talking about films that we saw when we were kids that were big deals for us. And one of those films for me was Star Trek the Motion Picture. Haven't seen it in, God, for ages. Thought I'd watch it and thought I'd do a review to see how it stacks up today. So Star Trek, the motion picture. This film was 1979. Can you believe it's that long ago? And brilliantly, the budget, $35 million, which today seems silly. Back then, I'm sure $35 million was an awful lot of money. This is the film where they'd obviously finished the TV series yonks before, absolutely ages before, and at long last they persuaded the studio executives that what they needed was a motion picture. And I'm sure that's in no small part to the fact that Star Wars 2 years prior had just been this colossal success. So that was 1977. Come 1979, suddenly we've got Star Trek the Motion Picture. And we've got all of our favourites back. So we've got William Shatner as Kirk, we've got Leonard Nimoy as the enigmatic Spock, and we've got DeForest Kelley as the grumpy Bones complaining about everything, and the whole crew. I'm not going to go through everybody there, but all of our favourites have returned from the immortal television series. And we've also got some new people thrown into the mix as well. Now, obviously, when you're watching this, we have to recognise that this is 1979. That's a long time ago. How has it aged? Because it's not like we're watching this as a new film. We're watching this as a film from long ago. So let's go through the things that I thought were great. Because for a start, one of the things I really liked was seeing the band get back together again. I remember as a kid thinking that it was amazing that I'm seeing all of my TV show heroes, now they're in this big movie. And that's fabulous. And even when you watch it now, you can see in the movie that there was lots of nods to the fans. There were lots of kind of, look, we've made a Star Trek movie, isn't it great? And there's all these moments where now you're like, well, okay, I've seen loads of Star Trek movies. It's not the new thing now. It's like, yeah, okay, it's a new Star Trek movie. Oh, there's a scene which goes on for several minutes where they're just looking, flying a ship around the Enterprise, and you're like, okay, yeah, it's the Enterprise. Let's kind of get a bit of a move on. So if you are a fan favourite, you will probably enjoy that. The music, for example, the music is great if you're a Star Trek fan. It's got all of that kind of build up. It's got very orchestral, lots of fan favourites there. You're really going to enjoy that. The story. Basically, the story is getting the band back together again because there's a big unknown, probably bad thing coming, and they're the only people that are going to stop it. Why Starfleet only have one ship like nearby, well, there was another one, but that doesn't last 5 minutes, that's just been refitted, that's not really ready, and you're thinking, wouldn't you have some more ships? Is it just the Enterprise? Where's everybody else? Has Starfleet only really got one decent ship? Let's get there. There are many things that we could criticise a little bit. We'll come on to that later on. The cinematography, again, it's very 1979, but on the whole, I think things looked pretty good. Again, you have to maybe have a degree of rose-tinted glasses, but I think, yeah, it's all fine, it's all enjoyable. There are some great kind of looking scenes, and, when the Klingons come along, that looks good. Does it look good today? I think kind of, maybe. The story, yeah, it kind of bobs along. There are some interesting parts to it. Really, you've got to be a Star Trek fanboy or girl to really kind of get into that. So there were a few lovely little moments. There's the relationships and the dynamics between those key characters that we've seen many times, and they're all there, and it's interesting to see them do their first big movie, because it's kind of like that stepping up from what was the small screen a good few years ago to the big screen at this point in time. And I think I wouldn't say it was good. I'd say it's interesting to see how they handled it. And I think that's one of the things about this film is when you watch it, I wouldn't necessarily say it's good. I'd say it's interesting because you're seeing a slice of 1979 for a film that really is dedicated for Star Trek fans. So yeah, I know that's not, maybe that's damning it with faint praise, I'm not sure. But it's not all warp drives and beam me up, Scotty, even though I haven't been particularly kind so far. There are a few things that when you watch it now, and just let you know, I am a Star Trek fan. I love Star Trek. I grew up with Star Trek. So if I'm going to kick it a little bit, it's because I love the show and I love the films. So the story. Well, as I mentioned, there isn't much of a story. It's like we got the guys and we're going to do this and there's a thing and they talk about it and there's lots of padding. I mean, there's lots of moments where you think that really didn't need to be that long, that scene. That scene lasted 2 or 3 minutes. It could have lasted 15 seconds. So padding, yeah. Story, not a whole lot. There are also some just bizarre moments. So one of the new characters we meet in this film is called Ilea, strikingly beautiful bald-headed lady. But bizarrely, one of the very first things she does when she meets Kirk, who is effectively her new boss, is to tell him, oh, by the way, I don't have sex. You're like, whoa, I've never met a new boss and said, oh, by the way, let me tell you about my sex life. Who does that? Anyway, let's skip over that. There are a few things where even as a fan, I can look at and think, that's a bit strange, really. So you kind of have to be extremely forgiving with this. There are bits that I kind of find funny now that really weren't supposed to be funny. But yeah, okay, so we'll skip on that. The costume, the design, yeah, that's horrendously dated. When you see Bones land on the ship for the first time, he really looks like he's come out of some sort of 70s fashion disco convention. That's just a shocking look. That was obviously they're taking 1979 as to what the future's going to look like, and thank God so far that's not the case. So the costume, the set design, yeah, I don't know, it's like when you say it's 1979. Really, I mean, to summarise this, if you are a Star Trek fan, there's much to enjoy / find interesting, but really only if you're a fan. And even if you're a fan, I'm a fan, and I'd only give it 3 stars. If you're not a fan, you don't watch this film, you won't enjoy it. You'd find it probably like a 1-star film. This is a film really for those who love Star Trek and want to reminisce and see a slice of history or the beginning of where Star Trek went into motion pictures. I want to say the genesis of Star Trek motion pictures, but that is really treading on the toes of the next Star Trek movie, which I will do a review of, and that will be much more positive because I absolutely love that film. But this film, yeah, again, if you're a fan and it's a lazy Sunday afternoon, what the hell? But really, there are better Star Trek movies than this. And with that, thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one.